Hey, what's up, guys? Check it out. I'm animated. I know, it's not very artistic animation, and I look nothing like this in real life. Don't judge, I'm new at this. And don't worry, I'm only doing this for the opening and closing of my review video here. Do I plan on ever going full animation like this? Throughout the entire video? No, 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 no. I do not. Just the beginning and the ending. Well, since this is my first time, I have no further animation or anything to say. So please direct your attention to the unnamed screen behind me here for this review video. Enjoy. Well, guys, I never thought I would live to see the day, but it looks like I actually have to switch over to the Battlefield games because Call of Duty has officially given up. Instead of making a brand new game with new characters, a fresh new story, new gameplay mechanics, a wide variety of multiplayer maps, and a decent zombies mode, they've essentially made the Call of Duty Modern Warfare with the subtitle, If the 1980s Was Modern. I'm of course talking about the most recent released game of the franchise, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. This being the 18th game of the entire series, I would expect nothing less than something stellar, never before seen, and absolutely worthy of all the praise and accolades that most of the previous titles have managed to snag, but alas, we have just another run-of-the-mill first-person shooter. God, I swear the last time I saw anything that was this generic was when I got my first Lego set. All the characters are exactly the same, just put on different clothing, hairstyles, and give them a miniature gun or tool and they're a different person. This is essentially what we have in terms of Black Ops Cold War. It's essentially the newest modern warfare game, but just taking the place in a different time period with a few different weapons, different characters, different maps, and of course the inclusion of the zombies mode. But more on that train wreck later. Well, I think that's enough exposition, so why don't we just get to what I spent hours making this video to do, actually review the game. Let's take a look at where it actually manages to do somewhat well compared to the other parts of the game. The campaign. So, let's just get the obvious out of the way. It's short. Shorter than the Resident Evil 3 remake, I think. I mean, it took me like 4 to 5 hours to complete. So, great job, Treyarch and Raven Software. You developed a game that just beats out the duration of a Viagra. Give yourselves a pat on the back. Let's just get one more obvious thing out of the way. The big question of, how do you make a first-person shooter that takes place in a war with no shooting? Seriously, the game is called Cold War. But, let's be honest, if you actually stuck to the title, then this campaign would be nothing more than a 4-hour Mexican standoff with nuclear warheads. Now, I do have to give credit to the creators for using the same members from previous Black Ops games, like Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2. I was hoping for the day that we would see Woods and Hudson make a return. Hudson to make me wonder whose side he's really on, and Woods to, well, be Woods. However, instead of playing as Alex Mason, you actually play as yourself, but with the nickname Bell. You even get to go through all the hassle of filling out a form to join the group, only for all the information to get covered up by the black lines at the beginning of every mission. Finally, the endings. The endings were actually pretty well thought out, and having a bad, good ending, and sort of a middle ending based on the choices that you made throughout the game really added in a few RPG elements that didn't take away from the overall arc of the game, but didn't necessarily add anything too thrilling. Now, Black Ops 2 essentially did the same thing, and it was nice to see a sort of return to form for the series. Now, if only they could have put the same effort into their online multiplayer. I mean, seriously, I get that Fortnite takes place on one island and therefore is technically one map, but there are twice as many places to go there than there are maps to play on Cold War. Seriously, if you don't include the series staple Nuketown, there's only like 10 maps, give or take a couple. This essentially means that they ran out of ideas, and instead of updating maps from the original games, they just decided, yeah, this'll be enough, and just gave us what little they could come up with. Weapons themselves are essentially the same as the other games, with some of them having different, more powerful versions that you can acquire, such as like the AK-47 having a variant known as the Iron Curtain. That's one of my favorites. But multiplayer, like a lot of the other games, essentially becomes, my team is going to lose the next 3 games, then make a miraculous win before losing another 3 games. Now, if you enjoy killing wave after wave of zombies and enjoy doing so even more with friends, well then go play World at War, Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2, because you are not going to find that kind of fun here. The one potentially commemorable thing Black Ops Cold War did with their zombies mode was allowing you to make a class with whatever weapon you so chose, although this does also just add to its own downfall. The whole point of zombies is that you're supposed to start out struggling and build yourself from the ground up. The order is, start out as a pile of crap with nothing more than a knife, an M14, shotgun, or maybe even an MP5, then start taking the form of a decent player, purchasing perks and getting a few hits in at the mystery box, before hunkering down in a camp spot and unleashing clip after clip of ammunition in an attempt to reach round 50 or so. Or as you could call it, the buried strategy. But Cold War pretty much gives you everything right out of the gate. Whatever weapon you want to start with, whether an LMG, assault rifle, sniper, etc., is automatically given to you. Not to mention that the zombies are not too difficult to melee throughout the first 4 rounds, as you can take 3 to 4 hits before going down, as opposed to the original 2. And that's without Juggernog, I might add. Plus, the one map it gives you isn't even all that great. The first map of a zombies mode is supposed to introduce you to zombies as a whole, with nothing more than a magical wooden crate and weapons that just magically come from portals drawn on the wall with chalk. Not to mention that there's no hellhounds. Now that's not to say that there aren't dangerous, flesh-eating dogs. It's that they only show up when you activate the magical whoosh to the crystal dimension, and instead of being orange and on fire, hence the name hellhounds, they're green and emit a green poisonous gas cloud when killed. So instead of hellhounds, we have gonorrhea dogs. The final thing I want to rant about is the death reward system. And no, I'm not talking about like how in Modern Warfare, when you die enough times and achieve final stand, hollow points, or whatever. I'm talking about, oops, I died. I died from the zombies and bled out. Oh, but thank God I took out that insurance policy and now I have all these extra points. So essentially, I could just join a game with my friends, die 4 or 5 or so rounds in a row after killing a bunch of zombies, then be able to get a double or even a triple pack-a-punch, because why the hell should we have players grind and do the work to get to that point? We'll just throw all this money at them and hope they don't spend it all in one place. Overall, it's not a terrible Call of Duty game, it's just really generic. Although in the end, I would much rather have a painfully generic game than a painfully boring and lazy one like Ghost or Infinite Warfare. Now, if you excuse me, I have a date with EA DICE, but don't tell Activision, it'll break their heart.